Hello everyone, this is Professor Govind. Let us understand in this video how to create tables in MS Access. As we all know, table is a place in MS Access where data gets stored. Table is the most basic and a primary object of MS Access, and in MS Access, data always will be stored in a tabular format. In order to save data or store data in MS Access, first we'll have to create a table, and in that table we can store data which can be accessed anytime in future. In MS Access 2007, we can create tables by three methods. One is called templates, then is data sheet method, and the third one is design view. The first one called a template, we actually do not create any tables, rather we use tables which are created by Microsoft Access or by other users. Template, as we all know, meaning of template is ready-made file. So templates are the ready-made databases or tables which are created by Microsoft Access, and if such a table suits your requirement, if such a table matches your requirement, you can use that table for your data storage. So in templates, we actually do not create tables, but we use the tables which are created by someone else, specifically Microsoft Access. But of course, there is a provision of creating our own templates as well. Once you save your table as a template, then it is like a structure which can be used anytime in future. You just have to open that template and enter your data. So templates are, in simple terms, nothing but ready-made files or ready-made tables where we just have to store our data or enter our data. The second method we have is called data sheet. Data sheet is a method where a table-like structure is available on your screen. According to your requirement, you will have to add your column heads or column heading, and then you can enter your data and store your data. So data sheet also is called as one of the direct method to store data or to enter data in MS Access. Soon you create table in data sheet, or using data sheet method, MS Access displays a Excel-like window. You can add the heading there as a column header, and you can enter data and store data. But the most detailed one and the recommended one is design view, the third method of creating table, which is a technical method of creating table. In design view, first you will have to specify what columns or what column heading is, what columns you want to create. And then you will have to specify data types, like what kind of or what type of data will be entered in that particular column. You will have to set the properties. You will have to determine something called as primary key. What primary key is will be explained to you later, and then save the table. And then after it you can enter data. So design view is the technical or detailed way of creating table. So the recommended one is design view, because you will have to specify each and every detail to create table. Hence it will be a perfect table if you create table in design view. We'll understand practically now how these tables are created. We'll see how tables are created using data sheet. We'll see how tables are created using design view, and also we'll see what ready-made files or tables we have with templates in MS Access. Let's first understand how to open MS Access. And for our syllabus, the version we have of MS Access is 2007. So first is we'll have to click on start, all programs, and you will have to check for Microsoft Office. Click on Microsoft Office and select the software called Microsoft Office Access 2007. Click on Microsoft Access 2007, and this is the initial window that you have. And this window is divided in three parts. The first one, wherein we have template categories. And also we have a link wherein we can download Microsoft Office online templates. So these are the online templates and the local templates. Herein we have the template categories and also the provision to download or go for online templates. The leftmost part of this window. And at the middle part of it, we have the actual tables available, the actual template tables available. So these are the online templates. These are the online templates. Like we have assets, we have contacts, we have issues, we have events, etc. These are the templates available, and also at the top part of this middle window we have is a small window which is for new database, for creating offline database. Now this is what is required for us. Click on blank database. Now this option is to create our own database, and within that database we can store our tables. So how MS Access works is, first you will have to create a database. Database is a container. Database is a container, and under database you can have different tables according to your requirement. Database is like a bag and tables are like the books wherein actual data is written. So first you will have to create a blank database, and as soon as you click on blank database, the rightmost window will be activated and it will ask you what name you wish to give. By default it will give the name as database followed by the number. If I create one more database, it will be database 3, the fourth one will be database 4, and so on. And such a database and your tables will be stored by default in documents. This also can be changed. The location can be changed by clicking on this folder like symbol, and it will allow you to change the location, as well as you can give any name. Or if you wish to just change the name of it, you can give the name that you wish by cancelling or by deleting database 2. Let me give the name as GCC BCom. You can give any name of your choice, and also you can change the location by clicking on this folder option. I wish to save this database in documents, hence I will continue with the same location. I will change the database name as GCC BCom and click on create. Now this is what is datasheet method. As I told you earlier, when you open or when you create your database or table in datasheet method, a Excel like structure will be opened wherein you have rows and columns available, and we have a provision to create columns with column heading. For example, the first field column here in MS Access and in database is called as a field. So let us create a first field with the name roll number, and to create one more I just have to click on some row or some column and a new column will be created. Let me give the name as subject, or let me have it as course. And to have one more, I just have to click at the next row. I just have to place my cursor at the next row and one more column will be inserted. Let me have this as subjects or subject. So this is how table can be created. As I said earlier, datasheet is one of the method where tables are created directly. We don't have to mention any details here. We don't have to give any specification. Directly, a table like structure will be opened and you just have to give the column heading. Now I directly can enter the data, and the first column we have is a column called auto number. This column belongs to MS Access, and MS Access keeps updating the number automatically here. We have not created this column, but this column, to maintain or to identify each row individually, this is one of the rules that we have in database, that we need to have something in our table which recognizes that row particularly, or any record can be identified separately. We should have any such data in a single row of any table. Keeping that rule in mind, what MS Access does is it creates one column automatically and it keeps on updating the number. For example, when I add 1 here, 1 will be updated here. Let me add course and any subject, for example ABC. Similarly, I can go to second row now. Let me mention roll number as 2, course is BCom and subject is XYZ. So this is how table can be created using datasheet method in MS Access. There will be an automatic column or a default column called ID where numbers will be updated automatically at each instance. Then we can create our own columns with column headers. So with this table now, we have with a default column of MS Access 1, 2, 3 and 4 fields, and we have 2 records 4 and 5, or roll number 1 and 2. We have 2 records and we have 4 fields. To create one more table, we'll have to go to create tab. There are the list of tabs available. There is a ribbon available. We'll have to click on create tab. To create anything in MS Access, we'll have to visit create tab. To create queries, to create forms, to create reports or to create tables, you will have to go to create tab. And the first group we have belongs to tables. And in the first group, the first option we have is called table. This is what is data sheet method of creating table, a default method. Click on it and one more table. As you can see here, we have tabs available. This is called a table pane or a table panel. Here we have the list of tables that are created in a particular database. By default we had table 1 and now we have created table 2. So we have a list of tables available here, and you can see at the bottom that we are creating tables in a data sheet view. You can look at the bottom left corner where I have pointed out the cursor. It will show you, or it will tell you that you are creating tables in data sheet view. So again, the same structure will be displayed. Double click on the column head, the first column or the first row, and you can add any data that you have. Employee number, for example. Place your cursor in the next row. One more column will be created or one more field will be created. Let me add employee name, and to enter the next one, I will place my cursor at the next row, and one more field will be created. Let me enter column header, that is salary. So you can enter any column header, and after giving column header you can start with your data. This is what is the data that I am entering. You can enter any number of records. And how to save this table is, you will have to go to these tabs, right click and click on save option. Right click and click on save option. If you click on save, it will ask you to provide a name. Provide any name and your table will be saved with the provided name or with the given name. So this is how tables can be saved, and also data gets stored automatically. The next one we have is design view. To create table using design view as well, we'll have to go to create option, and in create option we'll have to select now the last option called table design. Click on table design. In table design we have got 2 phases to cover to create tables. In table design we'll have to come across two phases or 2 stages to create table and to store data in it. So let's understand in detail what table design method is. Click on table design. So it will ask you first, this is called field creation window. This is called field creation window, wherein we have three particular columns. First is called a field name, a column heading, and we'll have to specify for a particular column or for a particular field what kind of data we need to select. For example, if it is a name, we'll have to select text. If it is a roll number, we'll have to select number and so on. So data type, we all know what kind of data we'll have to select, that we'll have to mention. And third one is the optional one, where for our convenience, for our easiness, we can mention description about that particular field, about that particular column. So let's create first a table called student, and the first field, the first column we'll have is roll number, and here we have the data type. Now this is the most important factor, the most important element of table design or creating table using design view. We'll have to select proper data type here. As roll number is a number, we'll select number data type. And description, if required, you can mention or you can skip it. And then we have is student name. One thing you should take care is this field with the name, only name you cannot create, because name is a keyword which is used by MS Access. So while giving field name as name, you should have a prefix of some alphabets. For example, if I am creating a name called student name, a field name called student name, I will add with name a prefix of S. And student name contains alphabets, hence I will select the data type as text. Let me now have something called course, and course is become BBA BCA, contains alphabets, hence I will select the data type called text. And also we'll have, I guess this is enough. Next table we'll select some more options, we'll have some more options. And also with this we get field properties. Have a look at this part of the window. We also get field properties with this. Field properties are the additional options or the features that we can attach with these data types or with these fields. Like for example, roll number we have mentioned is number. We can have a validation rule. We'll learn some of these properties, if not all. We'll learn some of these properties as we learn or as we create more tables. One of the rule that we give for roll number, we can give for roll number is roll number should be greater than 0. If you give this rule, this particular rule as a validation rule, MS Access will not accept any roll number which is less than 0. And validation text, you can give any message. You can give a proper message to your user saying you cannot enter any roll number which is less than 0. Cannot enter any roll number which is less than 0 is a message given to your user or the person who enters data. And also note down the properties that we teach. We then have is decimal places. Decimal places we can give. Decimal places we can give of any size. As you can see, the maximum we can give is 15. Decimal place is the digits, number of digits that come after the decimal dot or the decimal point. These are used for fractional numbers. What the fractional numbers are? The numbers wherein we have decimal dot or decimal point and we have decimal digits, like your percentage. We can have 89.95. If you have .95, it is called a decimal number or a fractional number. Roll number we cannot have, or we should not have any decimal places, because roll number is a complete number. We cannot have roll numbers such as 10.5, 15.5, etc. So such roll numbers we cannot have. Hence, decimal place, in case you don't have fractional number, we'll keep it as auto. So for roll number, let us have decimal place as auto, and we'll have validation rule as greater than 0. With further tables, with some more tables, we'll learn all these properties. So this is the first phase. This is the first phase of table design, wherein you should mention the column headers, which are called field names here, and also for each column header, you should select a proper data type. Look at the number of data types. Apart from creating data fields or columns, this particular window also allows us to set properties for those created columns or fields. For example, we have some properties available. If you look at the bottom part of the screen, we have a window available called field properties. For each of those fields, for each of those columns, according to the data type we select, different properties will be available. A field property is a list of options. Field property is a list of options wherein or using which we can control our data, we can manage our data, and we can ensure that only the required data will be entered by the operator. For example, you can control the size of text by mentioning how many characters you want at max for a given text. Similarly, for inputs like roll number, for fields like roll number, you can have a property like validation rule. You can have a property like validation rule, and a rule can be user should not enter any roll number which is less than 0. By mistake, roll number should not be entered in negatives. So we have such properties with each of these data types. Using these properties, we can manage our data, and we can have some restrictions over what kind of data can be entered or data will be entered. As we progress, we'll learn most of these properties. We'll understand how to set these properties for different columns. We'll understand what properties generally are required for textual data, what properties are used for numerical data, etc. As we progress with each of these examples, we'll understand how to set these properties. As of now, as we are creating table for a student, let us add some more columns into it. Columns, let me remind you, in MS Access are called as fields and rows are called as records. So let us create some more fields. Along with it, we'll also discuss about what data types we have in MS Access. Data type indicates or identifies what kind of data should be and will be entered in a given or in a particular column. If I select data type as number, for example, in this column, MS Access accepts only numbers, not textual data. Similarly, if I select anything as text, then even if you enter number, that also will be considered as text. So data type indicates or tells us what kind of data for a particular field can be or will be entered. Let's understand what kind of data types we have in MS Access 2007. The first one we have is called number. Or let us start with text. We'll go as per the sequence. The first one we have is called text. Text data type is used to accept alphabetical or the characters which are special symbols. So if you select the data type as text, MS Access accepts one is alphabets or the special symbols like brackets, star, dot, etc. Special symbols and alphabets are considered under this data type called text. For student name, for course name, for your college name, for correspondence address, etc. we can select this data type called text. A text field can contain values that are text or even it can be a combination of numerical data and text as well. So alphanumeric also can be entered if you select text. With the text, the maximum limit we have is 255 characters in MS Access 2007, which means if you select your data type as text, you can enter maximum of 255 characters for a single entry. We can enter 255 alphabets for a single name for a single entry. If you wish to enter any text which is beyond 255 characters, you should go for memo. It is a much larger version of text field, allowing storage up to 2 GB of data in terms of memory capacity. It can store it again. Memo data type again will accept textual data, alphanumerical data, but the capacity of memo is much bigger than that of text data type. So text and memo both are similar except only one change. Text can accept up to 255 characters, whereas memo can accept 2 GB of data in terms of memory capacity. So this is about memo data type. The next one we have is, or the most commonly used data type we have, is number. Number, as the name itself indicates, is used to accept numerical data. If you have any column or a field wherein you wish to accept number, you should select this data type called number. And in number, we have different variations in field properties. If you select, for example, if you select roll number, one of the column we have in this example is roll number. If you select number in field properties, in field size, a particular property called field size, we have different variations of number available. For a smaller number, we have byte and integer. For bigger numbers, we have long integer. And for the numbers wherein we have decimal points, like your percentage, 89.56 for example. For such numbers, we have single and double. We have replication ID as well as decimal. According to what kind of data you enter, what exactly in that particular column will be entered, according to that you can select any of these field sizes which are meant for numbers. For roll number, which generally is a smaller number, you can select either byte or integer. For entries like roll number, which generally are of 2 digits or 3 digits at the max, you can go for integer. And roll numbers also, they do not come in fractions. We cannot have any roll numbers such as 10.5 or 15.5. It is a complete number, hence you can go for integer. And for percentages, you can go for single or double, wherein we have, or you even can go for decimal. If it is a percentage, if it is an entry like percentage, wherein we have decimal dot and decimal digits. The next one after number we have is date and time. Date and time field allows storage or entry of date and time information. The date and time field also now includes auto calendar feature, which means if you select for a particular column data type as date and time, when a user clicks on that particular column, MS Access gives the option of displaying date of a particular month. So users can select a particular date from a given calendar. MS Access displays the calendar to make easier the selection of date for a user. You also can type the date and time if you are a user, and also Excel provides the additional feature of displaying a calendar, and from the calendar you can select a particular date. The next one we have is currency. The currency data type stores values in monetary format, that is, numbers will be displayed along with currencies or currency symbols like rupees, like euro, like dollar, etc. There are various currency symbols available or stored in MS Access. You can make use of it. If currency, then amount or say the numbers will be displayed along with currency symbols. We then have something called auto number. Auto number is used to display numbers automatically. This is what we witnessed in our first example, wherein Excel displayed the numbers automatically. The first column, it was mentioned as ID in the first column. So auto number will generate numbers automatically every time you click on a particular cell, every time you click on a particular row. Numbers will be generated automatically. Yes or no will have only two entries. Yes or no is a selection point, is a selection data type, wherein user can select his or her answer as yes or answer can be no. For example, for fields like whether PUC completed, for example, whether PUC completed, we can have only two answers. It can either be yes or it can be no. For such entries wherein you can have only two answers, true or false, yes or no, you can select this particular data type. Then we have is OLE object, something called OLE object, object linking and embedding. OLE stands for object linking and embedding. The OLE object field stores images, documents, graphs, etc. OLE object is used or allows you to embed files created by other applications. For example, you can include a file which is created in MS Word or MS Excel, etc. It is usually better to keep these as separate files and store the path and file name in your database. So in simple terms, OLE object is used to store files which are created in other applications. You can store the store the files which are created in other softwares like PowerPoint. You can store PPT files, you can store Word files, you can store images, you can store charts, etc. The next one we have is hyperlink. Hyperlink is a special form of text that will act as a link to open a file when you click on it. You can define the text to display the actual address of the file, a named section within the file, and a screen tip. It's usually better to use short text to do so. Now, what is the use of hyperlink in simple terms is we can provide a link, we can provide an address wherein when user clicks on it, it will link or it will open some other file or the web address. Now, hyperlink is one of the commonly used tool or the service of internet where you click on a text. When you click on a particular text, it opens some other page, it opens some image, etc. Such a link we can create for a particular column if selected data type is hyperlink. Attachment. This is for attaching images and other files in your database. Like we attach files in our email messages. We can also attach files with our MS Access database files. So attachment is attaching different files to your database in a particular column. And next one, the last one we have is called lookup wizard. If you select any data type called lookup wizard, then it will display a drop down list. It then will display a drop down list and users can select their answers from the drop down list. Such a data type called lookup wizard is available so that it helps our user in selecting the required answer. When for a particular column or when for a particular question you have limited answers, such a list for those answers you can create using lookup wizard. For example, in this particular table, we are asking our user to enter their course. Now, if you consider Gupte College of Commerce, what are the options we have for degree courses? We have BCom, we have BBA, and we have is BCA. So the answers or the entries are limited. Users will have to enter one amongst these three. For such entries, you can select auto wizard. You can select lookup wizard, you can select is lookup wizard. So let me select lookup wizard. It will ask me to select, it will display a window or a dialog box wherein it will ask us to enter what entries we have. Let us select the second option. I will type in the values that I want. The first option is I want the lookup column or to look up the values in the table or query. Let us select the second option, click on next. Now it will ask you how many columns you want to create for such entry. I wish to have only one, so number of columns I'll mention is 1. Let me mention what entries I want here. The first one I want is BCom. The first entry I want is BCom. Then I want is BBA, and the third option we have is BCA. Third option we have is BCA. Click on next and then finish. Click on next and finish. So for this now, what we have is lookup wizard. Let us have a look at how this output will be displayed. We'll add some more fields into this table. We'll add some more fields into this table, but before we add some more fields, let us have a look at how lookup wizard is available at the table creation, or while entering data, how exactly this looks. To enter data or to insert data, you should go to table panel, and the table that we are working on is table 2, and I will have to double click. Have a look at the leftmost panel, wherein we have the list of tables available under this data type called JCCBCOM. In order to enter data in this table, if you look at this design view or design, we only have created an empty table now. We only have created a structure. We are yet to enter actual data into it. So in order to enter actual data into this blank table, I will have to go to table panel available at the extreme left part of your screen, and select the required table and double click on it. Double click on table 2, and table 2 in data entry mode will be displayed, will be available. Let me enter roll number as 1. We'll enter any name first as a student name, and for course, as we have selected lookup wizard and we have passed 3 entries. If you look at this, if I place my cursor at this particular column, that is course, it will display an arrow mark and a drop down list. Now instead of typing this, I can select any of my answers. Now this is what the use of lookup wizard is. When you have limited choices to make, for such entries, for such columns, you can go for lookup wizard, and by doing so you can save your users time and effort. Users need not type their answers, users just will have to select their answers. So this is about the kind of data types we have in MS Access 2007. And if I wish to extend this table, if I wish to add some more columns, by mistake I have saved this table, but now I wish to enter some more columns into it. For entering some more columns, I just will have to right click on the table, go to tab called table 2, right click on it and select the 4th option called design view. Click on design view, it will bring you back to design window, and here you can add some more columns that you wish to add, some more data fields that you wish to add. Let me add now subject 1. Will accept marks and will create a field or a column called or with the name subject 1, and data type will select for this is number. Will have subject 2, and for this as well will select is number. And if you look at the properties, you can go for long integer here, or even you can go for integer. If you go to field size, the property called field size, you can go for integer or long integer. Numbers such as single or double are not that useful because subject marks are not generally given in fractions. So let me select integer, or even you can go for long integer. And one more property that we have with numbers, one more property that we generally have with numbers is the number of decimal places required. Come down to field properties and have a look at the 3rd property we have. The property we have is called decimal places. Now decimal places are the decimal digits which are displayed after decimal dot. Decimal places are the digits which are displayed after decimal dot. Now these are the decimal places we can display. These many decimal digits we can display after a dot. Generally for subject marks or for roll number, which are not fractional numbers, we don't display decimal places. We can select particular decimal places for average, for example for percentage. But for subject marks, for roll number, we need not display any we need not select any decimal places. If you select 2, it will display 2 decimal digits after decimal point, which means after decimal dot For example, 89 dot, we can write at the max 2 decimal places. We can add at the max 2 decimal places. We cannot write 89.786 if we select 2 decimal places. We can have only 89.78. If you select 3 decimal places, you can go for 89.7 or 89.78, or you can go for 89.789, because the maximum decimal places we can have with the selection of 3 decimal places is 3. So we can have at the max 15 decimal places. We can have at the max 15 decimal places with long integer. So this is what is the property called decimal place. And also we can have something called validation rule. We can have validation rule which restricts user from entering wrong entries or wrong values. For certain numbers, for certain entries, we can have something called validation rules. We can have it for roll number as well. For example, select roll number data type, roll number field and the data type. Go to this field properties and select the validation rule such as greater than 0, because we cannot have any roll number less than 0 or in negatives. Similarly, subject marks should be between 0 and 100. So we can write this between, so that user enters marks always between this range. Subject 1 marks should be between 0 and 100. Similarly, subject 2 marks should be between 0 and 100. So such validation rules we can mention using validation rules, using the property called validation rule. So if any user tries to enter numbers below 0 and beyond 100, MS Access will give error, will not accept such numbers, and it will flash a message saying that you are breaking a validation rule and you should enter marks only between 0 and 100. And you can give your own message with validation text as well. If required, if you feel it is required, you can enter for this validation rule a particular validation text. Validation text will be displayed. It is nothing but an error message. Validation text will be displayed when user tries to enter any number below 0 or beyond 100. If you don't give any validation text, default error message of MS Access will be displayed. If you want to give your own customized or modified message, you can give it in or with validation text. So these are the properties we have. And the next property we have is required property. Required property, we have only 2 options here, yes or no. Required is the one which makes entering value for a particular column compulsory. User cannot move further without entering value in a particular column. So if I select subject 1 and if I mention this required field property as yes, if I mention required field property as yes, then user cannot avoid leaving it blank. User cannot avoid entering data in subject 1. User must enter data in subject 1, then only he or she can move forward. Without entering data in subject 1, without entering marks in subject 1 column, user cannot enter or go to the next column or the next row. So required field, if set yes, makes it compulsory for the user to enter some data in a given column or in a given field. So these are some of the common fields that we have. As I said earlier, as we progress, we'll learn some of the more properties. As we move along, we'll learn some more properties. So the properties that we have learned so far are field size. We can select a field size if it is a number, and also we can select a field size even if it is a character. Maximum is 255 if it is text. You can decrease the size of it. If it is a text, field size, which is maximum of 255, you can make it 150, 20, 15 according to your requirement. You can decrease the size of it. And for numbers, the properties we have learnt are validation rule, decimal places, we have learnt validation text, and we have learnt is required. So these are the common properties that we have learnt. Some more properties we'll learn as we progress. Thank you everyone.